Well, not actually see it crash a second ago. This is very loud. I'm having trouble hearing myself. I'm gonna turn that down a bit. I don't actually know what to expect from this game, so I'm just gonna quickly into it with absolutely zero questions. Okay, so it's pretty much just it's a book. Okay.
I am writing this under an appreciable mental strain, since by tonight I shall be no more.
Okay. Can I move? Counter indirect developments. Some of them will allow you to continue. Interesting facts about the first story. Background and the author. Show you it's hidden. Find it. Focus your eyes. Right click. Also act. As to letters, my case is peculiar. I write such things exactly as easily and as rapidly as I would utter the same topics in conversation. Indeed, epistolary expression is with me largely replacing conversation. My condition of nervous prostration becomes more and more acute. I cannot bear to talk much now. I am becoming as silent as the spectator himself. My loquacity extends itself on paper. H.P. Lovecraft to Reinhard Kleiner, December 23rd, 1927. Throughout his life, Lovecraft penned around 100,000 letters to his friends and fans, out of which about 10% survive to this day. But his tendency to endless correspondence was a relatively late growth. In youth, I scarcely did any letter writing. Thanking anybody for a present was so much of an ordeal that I would rather have written a 250-line pastoral or 20-page treatise on the rings of Saturn. Lovecraft would often skip meals to afford postage. Collections of his correspondence have been published in various books, and selected letters can be found online. Some readers consider them his most important legacy. Interesting. Anything else that I'm hunting? No? Alright, cool. First on the window, so.
Penniless, and at the end of my supply of the drug which alone makes life endurable, I can bear the torture no longer, and shall cast myself from this garret window into the squalid street below.
That's unfortunate. Good morning, Blue.
Do not think from my slavery to morphine that I am a weakling or a degenerate. When you have read these hastily scrawled pages, you may guess, though never fully realize, why it is that I must have forgetfulness or death.
He was an addict.
It was in one of the most open and least frequented parts of the broad Pacific that the packet of which I was supercargo fell a victim to the German sea raider.
Here. So, to my understanding, it's pretty much just like a walkthrough of the story. So it's good that I have a second thing after this.
Very beginning, and the ocean forces of the Hun had not completely sunk to their later degradation, so that our vessel was made a legitimate prize, whilst we of her crew were treated with all the fairness and consideration due us as naval prisoners.
If you're gonna throw a massive question mark on it, it's not really hidden, is it? The Huns were Central Asian nomads who established a dominion in Europe and invaded the Roman Empire in the 5th century AD. They were known as brutal, deadly warriors and masters of quick raids, who also developed powerful composite bows, lassos, and early siege weapons. During World War I, the British used the word Hun as a synonym for Germans, in order to emphasize their brutality. However, the term originated when the German Emperor Wilhelm II gave a speech to his troops on the 27th of July in 1900 before they embarked to China. Should you encounter the enemy, he will be defeated. No quarter will be given. Prisoners will not be taken. Whoever falls into your hands is forfeited. Just as 1,000 years ago, the Huns under their king Attila made a name for themselves. One that even today makes them seem mighty in history and legend. May the name German be affirmed by you in such a way in China that no Chinese will ever again dare to look cross-eyed at a German. Ooh. I butchered that. The refusal to take prisoners was a clear breach of the laws and customs of war adopted during the First Hague Convention of 1899. Interesting. I do think this will be a fun, thing for me to read. I haven't been able to do a lot of voice stuff recently.
Of our captors, that 5 days after we were taken, I managed to escape alone in a small boat with water and provisions for a good length of time.
So do I just get into the boat? Buzzed. Any hidden stuff? No? Okay. Let us continue.
When I finally found myself adrift and free, I had but little idea of my surroundings. Never a competent navigator, I could only guess vaguely by the sun and stars that I was somewhat south of the equator.
Why would you do that if you couldn't navigate?
Of the longitude, I knew nothing, and no island or coastline was in sight.
I feel like in that case it would have been better to stay as a POW. Anything? No, nothing? Alright.
The weather kept fair, and for uncounted days I drifted aimlessly beneath the scorching sun, waiting either for some passing ship or to be cast on the shores of some habitable land.
Let me guess, he ran out of water.
But neither ship nor land appeared, and I began to despair in my solitude upon the heaving vastness of unbroken blue.
It actually is quite immersive, which is surprising.
A change happened whilst I slept.
Oh.
Its details I shall never know. For my slumber, though troubled and dream-infested, was continuous.
Oh, jeez.
When at last I awoke, it was to discover myself half sucked into a slimy expanse of hellish black mire, which extended about me in monotonous undulations as far as I could see, and in which my boat lay grounded some distance away.
That would be horrifying, yeah.
One might well imagine that my first sensation would be of wonder at so prodigious and unexpected a transformation of scenery. I was in reality more horrified than astonished.
I would never assume your first sensation would be like, oh, look how cool! The world turned into black sludge in which I am immersed.
For
No.
there was in the air, and in the rotting soil, a sinister quality which chilled me to the very core.
Was it?
The region was putrid with the carcasses of decaying fish, and of other, less describable things which I saw protruding from the nasty mud of the unending plain.
That sounds horrifying.
Perhaps I should not hope to convey in mere words the unutterable hideousness that can dwell in absolute silence and barren immensity. There was nothing within hearing, and nothing in sight, save
a vast reach of black slime. Yet the very completeness of the stillness and homogeneity of the landscape oppressed me with nauseating fear. The sun was blazing down from a sky which seemed to me almost black in its cloudless cruelty, as though reflecting the inky marsh beneath my feet. There has to be... or... no? Oh, haha! Found something. Dagon seems to be inspired by Fishhead, a short novel by Irvin S. Cobb about unnatural affinities between a hybrid idiot and the strange fish of an isolated lake. Supernatural horror in literature, H.P. Lovecraft. And Lovecraft's dream about a strange island emerging from the ocean and him crawling in the ooze that covered its surface. I dreamed down to the whole hideous crawl. Oh wait, I dream down that whole hideous crawl, and can yet feel the ooze sucking me down. In defense of Dagon, H.P. Lovecraft. Lovecraft's interest in the topic stemmed from his aversion to fish and sea smells. In his own words, I have hated fish and feared the sea and everything connected with it since I was 2 years old. But I cannot recall what earlier experience gave me such a profound and lasting aversion to the sea and seafood. The Dweller in Darkness, Lovecraft, 1927. Donald Wandrei. This is actually very interesting. It's interesting learning, like, more about Lovecraft. Very, very interesting person. And, like, we know the things that he created
As I
are pretty...
crawled into the stranded boat, I realized that only one theory could explain my position. Through some unprecedented volcanic upheaval, a portion of the ocean floor must have been thrown to the surface, exposing regions for which innumerable millions of years had lain hidden under unfathomable watery depths.
Oh, look at that. I zoom in on that. Oh. It's, like, alive. This is giving me, like, great ideas, like, as a writer. But it's also, like, this would be a properly horrifying place to wake up.
So great was the extent of the new land which had risen beneath me that I could not detect the faintest noise of the surging ocean, straining my ears as I might.
You wrote very interesting stories, I will say that. Yeah, he did. And, like, they were very interesting. They were also a tad... Yeah, I think the word for it is problematic. Because, you know, he had his... He was a person, and all people have their flaws, and his was severe fear of anything and everything. On top of other stuff. But, like, you know, that does not take away from the fact that he's managed to create something that is persistent. And I think, you know, if nothing else, that alone deserves respect. Hold on. I take the faintest noise for the surging ocean. Strain my ears as I might.
Nor were there any seafowl to prey upon the dead things.
Alright, is this another... No, I don't wanna miss anything. Okay, so we just continue on?
For several hours I sat thinking or brooding in the boat, which lay upon its side and afforded a slight shade as the sun moved across the heavens.
Oh, that would be so... Just huddled up against this boat, surrounded by all the dead fish, all that. Oh, for hours. Yeah, no, that'll break a man.
As the day progressed,
The ground lost some of its stickiness, and seemed likely to dry sufficiently for traveling purposes in a short time.
That night
I slept but little, and the next day I made for myself a pack containing food and water, preparatory to an overland journey in search of the vanished sea and possible rescue. There is no rescue from the domain of the great dreamer. Oh, he was there for a whole day? Oh, shame. Also, the tentacles just there are kind of freaking me out. And that's 100% something glowing red. But it's a very, very, like, mesmerizing landscape that they've built here.
On the third morning,
I found the soil dry enough to walk upon.
The odor of the fish was
It's maddening, but I was too much concerned with graver things to mind such slight and evil, and set out boldly for an unknown goal. I forget what these are called, because they're not squids, I don't think. Or maybe they are squids, and I'm just... don't know enough about fish. Well, hello, Mary. How you doing today? Today we are... Well, I have two games. I have this one...
All day I forged steadily westward, guided by a faraway hummock which rose higher than any other elevation on the rolling desert.
So yeah, I've got this game, which they said, like, would take 30-ish minutes, and then I have one more, which is, like, spooky-ish. It's called Dead Estate. It was also free. I was like, all right, cool. I can probably squeeze like an hour, hour and a half out of this because I will not be able to stream this weekend because my family's coming to visit. I'm doing pretty well. Day has been so far more productive. Nice. Um, Faraway hummock. Hummock is just like a hill, right? Hold on. Define hummock. Yeah, it's just like a hill or a mound. Yeah, it's just another word for a hill. Oh, but look at these. Look at these. What are those? They look like the bones of some like. I'm not like a biologist of like any sort, but it looks like this is an appendage. You know, like some kind of arm, like something at the end of an arm. It would be like the bones of a tentacle monster or something, I guess. Very interesting. I'm pretty sure that's everything that's here. I don't know if that's real or he's slowly getting crazier. Got picked up from school, so yay, that's fun. There's a whale. Dead whales are always a sign of bad things. Oh, you know what I should try to get? I should try to get a. I think it's just called the Call of Cthulhu on my computer. That would be fun. I think that would be a fun thing to play on my computer.
Night, I encamped, and on the following day still travelled toward the hummock, though that object seemed scarcely nearer than when I had first espied it.
Yeah, that's something I see a lot in like, I guess specifically Lovecraftian style, but a lot of like cosmic horror. It's like the thing they're walking towards, or just something off in the distance that never leaves your view, and is also never getting closer, which is very interesting. Aha, here we go. The creator of the Cthulhu mythos and the fictional underwater city of R'lyeh was convinced that life could not exist at the bottom of the ocean because the water pressure would make it uninhabitable. Uninhabitable, yeah. Today we know that the darkest depths of the ocean are home to many peculiar organisms. The deepest dwelling fish we've discovered so far, the Marina snailfish, can live about 88,000 meters, more than 26,000 feet below the ocean's surface, in never-ending darkness and at hellishly crushing pressures, hundreds of times stronger than those found at sea level. Upon glancing at the modern photos of deep-sea creatures, such as the anglerfish and the fangtooth or the viperfish, and their truly Lovecraftian characteristics, it's hard not to find some irony in this. That is actually cool. And I don't think I thought about that before. Like, a lot of Lovecraft's, like, creatures that he dreamed up, I don't think we knew stuff like that existed that deep in the ocean at the time. But he just, like, oh, cool. Monsters in the ocean. You know? Fear of the unknown and all that. Pretty easy to do. But he wasn't too terribly far off. Let's just hope he was still not completely correct.
By the fourth evening, I
Attained the base of the mound, which turned out to be much higher than it appeared from a distance.
an intervening valley setting it out in sharper relief from the general surface.
Hmm.
Too weary to ascend, I slept in the shadow of the hill. I know not why my dreams were so wild that night,
Uh-oh.
but ere the waning and fantastically gibbous moon had risen far above the eastern plain.
I mean, I'm pretty scared of the ocean, so I don't blame him. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the ocean, but it's still, I think it's cool.
Determined to sleep no more. Such visions as I had experienced were too much for me to endure again. And in the glow of the moon I saw how unwise I had been to travel by day.
Hmm.
Without the glare of the parching sun, my journey would have cost me less energy. Indeed, I now felt quite able to perform the ascent which had deterred me at sunset. Picking up my
pack. I started for the crest. Oops. Misread. It's fine. No, that's just a. Okay. Let's do that. This is a very interesting
The unbroken monotony of the rolling plain was a
source of vague horror to me.
But
I think my horror was greater when I gained the summit of the mound,
and looked
down on the side into an immeasurable pit or canyon. Says,
The moon had
but not yet soared high enough to be. I look down, or no, I just have to stare at the moon.
I felt myself on the edge of the world, peering over the rim into a
Fathomless chaos of eternal night. Oh, that's cool.
Through my terror ran curious reminiscences of Paradise Lost.
I haven't read it.
And of Satan's hideous climb through the unfashioned realms of darkness. As the moon climbed higher in the sky, I began to see that the slopes of the valley were not quite so perpendicular as I had imagined.
Gaze into the abyss, and the abyss shall gaze back.
Ridges and outcroppings of rock afforded fairly easy footholds for a descent.
Oh, I see glow. I see something glowing down there.
Whilst after a drop of only a few hundred feet, the declivity became very gradual.
Don't go towards the light.
By an impulse which I cannot definitely analyze,
I scrambled with difficulty down the rocks and stood upon the gentler slope beneath.
Gazing into the
Stygian deeps where
where no
light had yet penetrated.
All at once, my attention was captured by a vast and singular object on the opposite slope, which rose steeply about 100 yards ahead of me.
The monolith?
An object that gleamed whitely in the newly bestowed rays of the ascending moon.
Oh wow, everything else is very dark. Oh, is it squishy down here?
That it was merely a gigantic piece of stone, I soon assured myself.
Yeah, but stone doesn't naturally become a straight
But
block.
I was conscious of a distinct impression that its contour and position were not altogether the work of nature.
I'm glad we agree.
A closer scrutiny filled me with
Sensations I cannot express.
For despite its enormous magnitude and its position in an abyss which had yawned at the bottom of the sea since the world was young, I perceived beyond a doubt that the strange object was a well-shaped monolith, whose massive bulk had known the workmanship and perhaps the worship of living and thinking creatures.
What did you think about
Dazed
worship
and
that
frightened, yet not without a
certain thrill of the scientists or archaeologists alike?
I examined my
Surroundings more closely. That's probably a mistake, right? Looks like he's just still in a black valley.
The moon, now near the zenith, shone weirdly and vividly above the
Uh-oh.
towering steeps that hemmed in the chasm, and revealed the fact that a far-flung body of water flowed at the bottom, winding out of sight in both directions, and almost lapping my feet as I stood on the slope. Across the chasm, the wavelets washed the base of the Cyclopean monolith,
Why is it Cyclope?
on whose surface I could now trace both inscriptions and crude sculptures.
Hold on, we got another word to define. Define Cyclopean. Pretty sure it just means like single-eyed. Noting a type of ancient masonry made with massive irregular blocks. Oh, okay. Alright, that's cool. Very cool. Anything else around? No? No.
The writing was in a system of hieroglyphics
It's
unknown
to me.
and unlike anything I
I
had
have
ever seen
seen
in
books.
books, consisting for the most part of conventionalized aquatic symbols such as fishes, eels, octopi, crustaceans, mollusks, whales, and the like.
Hmm.
Several characters obviously represented marine things which are unknown to the modern world, but whose decomposing forms I had observed on the ocean-risen plain. It was the pictorial carving, however, that did most to hold me spellbound.
Oh, the one in the center. What's this nonsense about that I have to zoom in to find it? It's just right there. Not hidden at all. Dagon contains many themes and storytelling methods that Lovecraft developed in his later works, such as telling the story through carvings at the Mountains of Madness and the Nameless City, journals and characters' notes, Shadow Out of Time, The Hunter of the Dark, Islands Emerging from the Ocean, The Call of Cthulhu. Oh, that does have The Call of Cthulhu, doesn't it? I actually really want to read that book. Like, I know the plot and, like, the stuff that happens, but I haven't actually read any of it afterward. Or fictional beings and data based on real events and mythology. So, Spur. It's also considered the origin of the popular Cthulhu mythos. Some of Lovecraft's other stories also conclude in a manner similar to Dagon, but let's skip the details in order not to spoil the ending. It's interesting. I want to see which of these I actually know, cause I watched, it was I think it was like a overly sarcastic productions thing. They were talking about, like, you know, the Cthulhu mythos stories, or a couple of them. Like, you know, just what they were and their stuff. I'm pretty sure Call of Cthulhu was one of them, and then there was another, two more. I think it was like his three most popular ones. Don't remember. Adjust my headrest.
Plainly visible across the intervening water on account of their enormous size were an array of bas-reliefs whose subjects would have excited the envy of a Doré. I think that these things were supposed to depict men, at least a certain sort of men, though the creatures were shown disporting like fishes in the waters of some marine grotto.
Interesting.
Or paying homage at some monolithic shrine, which appeared to be under the waves as well.
Well, if everything that you're seeing right now was under the ocean at some point, so was this monolith. So it's the ocean people worshipping at the monolith. Also, what's that? What's that down there? I want to look farther down.
Faces and forms I dare not speak in detail, for the mere remembrance makes me grow faint.
No, I want more detail.
Grotesque beyond the imagination of a Poe or a Bulwer.
Interesting. That one at the top vaguely reminds me of a turtle. The one on the right is, you know, just kind of a skull. That one at the bottom. Yeah, the more classical squid person, and I can't really make out the one on the right. He just looks like a normal dude.
They were damnably human in general outline, despite webbed hands and feet, shockingly wide and flabby lips, glassy, bulging eyes, and other features less pleasant to recall. Curiously enough, they seem to have been chiseled badly out of proportion with their scenic background. For one of the creatures was shown in the act of killing a whale, represented as but little larger than himself.
Oh.
I remarked, as I say, their grotesqueness and strange size, but in a moment decided that they were merely the imaginary gods of some primitive fishing or seafaring tribe. Some tribe whose last descendant had perished eras before the first ancestor of the Piltdown or Neanderthal man was born.
Oh, what's that over there? Oh, it's just moonlight. I wish there was, like, slightly more Easter eggs. Like the little question that bulbs around.
Glimpse into a past beyond the conception of the most daring anthropologist. I stood musing whilst the moon
Cast queer reflections on the silent channel before me.
then,
Suddenly, I saw it. Saw what?
with only a slight churning to mark its rise to the surface, the thing slid into view above the dark waters.
Let me see. Oh!
Loathsome, it darted like a stupendous monster of nightmares to the monolith,
Oh, mercy. That actually got me.
about which it flung its gigantic scaly arms, while it bowed its hideous head and gave vent to certain measured sounds.
So it's like worshipping at the thing.
Then, of my frantic ascent of the sloping cliff, and of my delirious sang a great deal and laughed oddly when I was unable to sing.
Like, shoot.
I have indistinct recollections of a great storm sometime after I reached the boat. At any rate, I know that I heard pearls of thunder and other tones which nature utters only in her wildest moods.
Yeah, I think I'd go crazy too.
When I came out of the shadows, I was in a San Francisco hospital. Brought thither by the captain of the American ship which had picked up my boat in mid-ocean.
Hmm.
In my delirium, I had said much, but found that my words had been given scant attention. Of any land upheaval in the Pacific, my rescuers knew nothing. Nor did I deem it necessary to insist upon a thing which I knew they could not believe.
Smart choice. Ah, there we go. Lovecraft was a prominent figure in the world of amateur journalism. In 1915, he started publishing his own journal called The Conservative, which included political and social commentary. Commentary, poetry, short stories, and literary criticism written by him and other authors. Who was Howard? Howard was a skilled wordsmith, but he also... Oh, HP. I don't actually think I know his first name. Cool. Howard was a skilled wordsmith, but he also took criticisms to heart, which resulted in his decision to step away from writing poetry and concentrate on weird fiction again. First time since his teenage years. Dagon, published in 1917, is one of the short stories written during that period. This example excerpt from The Conservative, the master of horror fiction, explains his attitude towards warfare and the idea of world peace. Why any sane... it is. My mouth is kind of dry, hold on. Why any sane human being can believe in the possibility of universal peace is more than the conservative can fathom. If the entire civilized world agreed to simultaneously disarm, one or more nations would undoubtedly retain secret armaments, and at the proper time, take advantage of their more altruistic and less astute contemporaries in a wild career of conquest against unarmed victims. No country is, nor ever can be, above warfare, until the basic impulses of the human animal shall have miraculously changed. This is 100% factual. That's a very factual statement. Probably a very unpopular one, but it's a very factual statement. Keep this water near me.
Once I sought out a celebrated ethnologist.
Ethnologist. That's a big word. Define ethnologist. Characteristics. Oh yeah, so it's like an anthropologist, but
and amused him with
smaller.
Peculiar questions regarding the ancient Philistine legend of Dagon, the fish god.
That looks a lot like the picture on the monolith. But is there not a way for me to skip the... Ah, there it is. I was wondering where it was. Dagon, or Dagon, or Dagan? Dagon and maybe Dagan, I'm not sure, was the main deity of the Philistines, worshipped throughout the Middle East as the ancient god of fertility and crops. In Hebrew, the word Dagan was a common noun for grain. Rulers of Akkad, Mesopotamia, chose him as the patron saint of their war conquests. He also appeared as the judge of the dead in an Assyrian poem and an underworld prison warder in one of the Babylonian texts. He is often mistakenly taken for a fish god due to the wrong interpretation of his name, as in Hebrew the word dag means fish. In H.P. Lovecraft's works, Dagon is an underwater deity ruling over the deep ones, a humanoid race with fish traits that reside in the oceans. He is worshipped by a secret cult called the Esoteric Order of Dagon. I actually did know that at one point. I forgot that he was the king, though. Because I remember sometime during high school, I got like really into researching how it all worked. Because Cthulhu is not like the head honcho; he's just the most popular one. He's like their head priest or something. He's also like the heir to Dagon. It's very complicated, and I don't remember most of it. I'm pretty sure that Cthulhu is both like the heir and the only one
But
mostly
seeing
conscious.
that he was hopelessly conventional, I did not press my inquiries.
Oh, here we go. Something that was actually hidden. Lovecraft's attempts to find a job in 1925 were influenced by advice he received from friends. Among others, he started freelancing for a market magazine where he would write announcements and commercials. Feel free to judge his copywriting skills for yourself. An ad for Curtis Woodwork. Curtis Woodwork embraces both the usual structural units and the cleverest contrivances of built-in or permanent furniture, such as bookcases, dressers, buffets, and cupboards. Every model is conceived and created with the purest art, ripest scholarship, and mellowest craftsmanship, which energetic enterprise can command, and made to conform rigidly to the architecture of each particular type of home. The cost, considering the quality, is amazingly low, and a trademark on the individual pieces prevents any substitution by careless contractors. Oh, that's actually quite a good ad. Good for you, Howard. August, I'm gonna say Derleth, was an American writer and anthologist. He also befriended Lovecraft and published many of his works through his company, Arkham House. Although he greatly contributed to the popularization of the author's works after his death, he is surrounded by numerous controversies. One of his most questionable decisions involved introducing the good versus evil doctrine. Derleth was a devout Catholic to the Cthulhu mythos, which contrasted with Lovecraft's view of the world and his approach to cosmic horror. As a result, the author's works are often misunderstood and misrepresented in today's culture. It is also worth noting that Lovecraft was never really interested in creating a mythology. The term Cthulhu mythos was coined by Derleth after the author left the mortal plane. Why is that how you phrase that? Interesting, though. I did not know that. What the? Okay, that was weird. What are we? What are we doing, Holmes? Now that I've actually seen something that was hidden, scour the land real quick. Pretty sure there's nothing. Looks like there's nothing, so we'll just keep going.
It is at night, especially when the moon is gibbous and waning, that I see the thing. I tried morphine, but the drug has given only transient surcease, and has drawn me into its clutches as a hopeless slave.
Hmm.
So now I am to end it all, having written a full account for the information or the contemptuous amusement of my fellow men. Often I ask myself if it could not all have been a pure phantasm, a mere freak of fever as I lay sun-stricken and raving in the open boat after my escape from the German man of war. This I ask myself, but ever does there come before me a hideously vivid vision in reply. I cannot think of the deep sea without shuddering at the nameless things that may at this very moment be crawling and floundering on its slimy bed, worshipping their ancient stone idols and carving their own detestable likenesses on submarine obelisks of water-soaked granite. I dream of a day when they may rise above the billows to drag down into their reeking talons the shall ascend amidst universal pandemonium.
Oh dear. That's fortunate. Certainly hope that doesn't happen.
The end is near. I hear a noise at the door, as of some immense slippery body lumbering against it.
Oh dear. Not a very nice place, but he did preface all of this with saying he was penniless.
It shall not find me. God, that hand! The window! The window!
We hope you enjoyed immersing yourself in our little pool of cosmic horror. We would appreciate it if you took a moment to rate Dagon and check out our other games and DLCs. I'm not going to right now, but I might later. I actually enjoyed this. This was very interesting. I enjoyed this a lot. This was actually very fun, and it jump scared me once. Didn't appreciate that, but essentially what I asked for. That was very, very cool. Alright, let me boot up the, or once this is done doing what it's doing, let me boot up the next game. That one is not so much spooky as, well, I don't think it is. I didn't actually play it before this. Trivia. Oh, I missed quite a few things. Really? I thought I was being pretty proactive. Unfortunate. Alright, here, let me... yeah, while I find it, alright, well, here's a question, actually, for anybody who's still in the chat. If I, kind of, went out and got Call of Cthulhu or something and played it, is that something you guys would be interested in seeing? Because, I think I'd actually like to play that. I think it'd be... that. But, y'all are the ones who are watching. Oh, it's... Yep. I do want to check on... Oh, I think the opening is playing, but you guys can't see the game. I guess if I set it to that... hold on. If I do that, will it capture it? No. Unfortunado. Oh, alright, cool. That's working. Hey. Yeah, okay, so it's, these two. She's like a hitchhiker or whatever, and he's a truck driver, and zombies appeared. Oh, they got a flat tire, and zombies appeared, and now they're entering this building, and the game is going to start, I assume. It's called Dead Estate. Actually, let me change my thing. There we go. That's been changed. This is actually, the music is pretty cool here. I'm gonna play Jeff. I feel like Jeff can take more damage, moves a bit slower, starts with a handgun. Can't take too many hits, moves faster, starts with a shotgun. Why does she start with the shotgun? She's a college student. I guess I'll go her since she's faster. Lock and load. Space or right click to jump and left click to fire. Cool. Alright, cool. Let's do this. Okay, it's okay. It hasn't really gripped me yet, but it's fun. It's enjoyable. And the music's very good. Oh, none of that. I've played too much Zelda not to break pots in every room I enter. Alright. So I don't know what our goal is. I think this is like the first roguelike game I've tried. Does that just mean like it expands? Is it infinite? Chance to regenerate health on a kill. Alright, cool. So yeah, we'll go for like 30 minutes on this. I jump over them? I guess not. I don't know what that is. I don't know if I have ammo or not. Yeah, get wrecked. I don't know. It's okay. It is an enjoyable experience, but I kind of miss I kind of enjoyed Dagon more. Like a little more story. I don't know. We'll play Hades until it doesn't. We'll play this until I die. Or until the time runs out. It's a good way to end, I guess. Ow. What the? Oh, are those raccoons evil? I don't even know what you are. I have no idea what I just had to survive, but okay. Oh, it is 100. Okay. Why are you dropping from the ceiling? Is bed useful for anything or no? Alright, cool. Do 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 do. Do do do. Oh, what is this? The boss room? Oh dear. Do 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 do. Dang, she's very nimble. Yeah. Yeah, I got you. Reckless attack. Come at me. You'll never get past my... Oh, maybe you will. It's pure force of numbers. I win. Get it? Get wrecked. What's this, to the next floor or something? Yeah, so just the next floor. All right. So is the point of these games you just like you keep going until you die and then you start over? Interesting, I guess. I would hate having to start all the way over. Are you going to attack me, or can I speak with you? Oh, you are 100% just mean. Necromancer! I'm gonna assume that stepping in the pool of magic blood is bad. Oh wait, why can't I see? Why is the light leaving my eyes? Interesting. Okay. Have to find the key. I still don't know what the point of all the money is. Those will figure that out as time continues. I don't do mannequins. I do not do mannequins. Get away from me. None of that now. Just gonna vomit blood at me? Rude. What did I just say? I said we're not doing the mannequin thing right now. You should be dead. No, I'm not gonna survive this. Oh! Didn't see that coming. Okay. That's unfortunate. Yeah, no kidding, it's game over. Try again. Not giving up, I still got time. Oh, but I lose all of my... Okay. So I gotta be like... Let me try getting just all the way up in your face. That is not a good idea for my health. Oh, but they ricochet. It's like, I'd kind of noticed that before. You don't matter. So stage layout's always different. That's fun. Do. Ooh, get wrecked. Nope, stay away. Why does it scatter so much? Oh, I'll take that. So it'll quite literally just go on forever until I decide to ascend correctly. Yeah, maybe we'll go get the key. I would like to have the key. Oh, not you. Oh, okay. That's mildly irritating. I don't want to cut it before. Oh, did it just crash? Guess abort, right? Ah, irritation. Unfortunate. That was kind of irritating. I think I should be able to pull it back up. Oh, this is just it's fun. Try that again. Then I should just be able to skip. Let's see how he handles. Do, do. Getting too old for this. You're very young. Very strapping young man. Named Dave. That is not a handgun. That is a cannon. He also does move like a brick. Dang. I did not think it was going to be that pronounced. Dang, no wonder he's slow. He's carrying a portable, like, Gatling cannon with him. This man could have fought the Revolutionary War single-handedly. I don't even have to move. I just have to sit still and shoot. If I cross that, it's gonna hurt me. Yep, but I have to go through it. Because this game is mean and realizes that if I, not forced to take damage, it's not gonna happen. Oh, even his jump is... Oh, wait, we can jump over these, can't we? Yep. That's on me. Do, 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 do. Alright, boss slime. This is probably going to be significantly easier than it was when we were playing her. I can just sit incredibly still. Yeah, nope. I sense an early death in your future. Dang, you're just really eating these for breakfast, aren't you? Look at him. He doesn't even look like... He doesn't care. This man's been through... I don't know, something. Come on, come on. It's like Galaga. But funnier, because I'm just cheesing a floor boss. You ain't making it to me. My bullets will chew through you first. I'm sorry, kids. Did you think you were gonna be dangerous? My name is Davis O'Brien. Ah, too old for this. Dang, Dave hits like a truck. Let's see if we can get through level 2 before I die again. Next death will be where we call it for today. They don't seem very happy about being shot. Dang, they didn't do anything. Oh yeah, you're about to vomit blood at me, aren't you? He's just so unaffected. He just gives... He does not care. Avoiding the table, I suppose. Oh, who are these Death Knights? Oh, is that who was in the room before? Honestly, they're the ones I want gone most. It's like the Bloodmouth is whatever, but he is... They're actively denying sections of the stage. Look at him. He's just tanking it. He's taking no damage. There is no threat to Dave. Ah, I'll accept the things he can't hurt. What the... Okay, so this... Oh, Ghost Baby. Oh, the ghost is dead. Now I just need to deal with you. Which, I'm not gonna lie, was easier with a shotgun. Finally. Now let me rake in the cash real quick. Might as well break that last one. Alright, moving on. So this combo is annoying because it just is very tanky. They don't take any... They just kind of absorb bullets. But with enough sustained fire, anything and everything is possible. Like I said, in any situation where you are in danger, just shoot it enough times and the danger will go away. That is the lesson that I have learned. Okay, so this is unfair. Oh, Ghost! It's less fair than I thought it was. Which is not at all. Wait, how did I do that thing where my fire rate went up? Because I would love to know how to do that. Haha. Getteth wrecked, scrub. I don't know how long I'm gonna survive, but I've got the boss key, so cool. Unfortunate. Oh, you hit me. Oh! Smacked out of the air. Unfortunate. Yep, that is quite sad. Quite sad. And every time, it just kind of crashes. Oh, yeah, that's mildly unfortunate, but that is going to be the end of the stream for today. Thank you all for showing up. I won't be streaming this weekend because I've got stuff going on, but I will try to jump back on that next week. Ugh, excuse me. Yeah, so that's going to be it for me today. You guys have a great rest of your morning, evening, afternoon, whatever it is. And I will see you next time. Bye.